All right. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. I think we are live. Welcome to the December monthly painting event for the Dicebearers. Yeah, I hope everyone has had a really nice Christmas holiday and going into the New Year's. Hopefully, we see a lot more cool hobby in 2022. But for now, let's just focus on a banger of an ending for 2021 in terms of the submissions. Man, I have to say less entries than last time, but quality is out of control. I would have to say. So again, joining with me, we've got Scott. Hey,
Hello.
and we've got our special guest Alexa this time.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
Hey. So let's just jump straight into it, guys. We're gonna go into the first entry here, and it is a returning entrant. It's Will. Oh, hang on. There we go. Yeah, Will's coming back in come back again this month with another diorama. You guessed it. And yeah, wow, very cool. He's got the Witch King looking for Baggins, little Bagginsies, right outside Farmer Maggot's farm. I'm gonna jump to you, Alexa. How do we feel when we see this?
Look, I'm putting my money on the dogs. That's all I'm saying. But besides that, I think it's so sick. He just pumps these dioramas out, man. It's just crazy. I love all the little dirt building up on the capes. I noticed it's really nice. I really like how vibrant Farmer Maggot is compared to the Witch King's little dour dress up.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon the dogs have got him with those three models. He can trap the Witch King. So hell yeah. Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, every time I see Farmer Maggot, I have a blister of him sitting here in my pile of stuff, and I'm like, yeah, doggos, because they're great. Like scale dogs, cool. Um, Will always knocks it out the park. This is super sick. I actually like his take on the Witch King. It's not different, but it's cool. It's based off the mouth of Sauron, right? Like if memory that's what it looks like there. But
Yep.
Yeah, I guess this horse. Yeah.
yeah, sick. And you can just imagine Farmer Mag's like, "Oi, give me back my cabbages," and you're just like, "I'm just going to turn you into a pile of dirt." Sick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting to see the different interpretations of the ring wraiths through different hobbyists, and Will always has a interesting interpretation here, and he's gone for, as you said, the mouth of Sauron, body as well as the horse. He's also, I think, he's added in the crown and helmet there to match it to the Witch King, and he's added a bit of the blue glow, indicate the witchery and the sorcery that comes with the Witch King. So yeah, very spooky, very ominous. This very much reminds me of a duel, like a duel entry in a Golden Demon sort of thing, where you've got two plucky combatants duking it out. You've got Farmer Maggot and his companions, and you've got the Witch King. So hopefully, well, anyway, may the best man win.
I'm going for the dog on the far right. Yeah.
He's gonna hang back and let the other two dogs do
Yeah,
it.
make the Witch King spend some will.
I was gonna say a duel implies that the Witch King stands a chance here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah, exactly. It's already 4-1.
Yeah, he's got the little one in the middle just slinking around, and then you've got the one on the left that's gone for the flank there. Very cool. It's got the tactics.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into our second one. Thanks very much, Will. First time entrant, but you guys, if you lucky and eagle-eyed, will notice this style and photo taking. If you guys notice on our posters, the Lurts and the Dol Amroth Knights are painted by this fellow here, Matthew. Matthew C. He's coming this time with Arathorn, father of Aragorn, and very cool model to begin with. And it's really cool to see people actually paint this model up in full turbo detail. And yeah, look, I'm gonna jump to you, Scott. What do you think?
Yeah, look, every time I see Matt's stuff, I'm just like, Iron Shoke of Arabia. That's his Instagram handle, so go check it out. I saw this earlier today on Instagram, actually. Sick. You know, it's funny, right? You see all these like old Lord of the Rings models, and you're like, oh, this model's so old, like, oh. And then someone comes and does like a really sick paint job, and you're like, oh, this model's so sick. Like, what model is that? Where's that from? It's like, yeah, you know, this model, like what, 15 years old? People think it's like you don't see a lot of him, so it's kind of hard to pick. But when it's done well, like chef's kiss, chef's kiss. Look at that sword, smooth. The only, you know, I think that's brushwork there as well. I know Matt sometimes uses an airbrush, so it looked like the blade itself looks like brushwork. Brushwork, excellent, excellent. Airbrush is cheating. So great work, and I like
Airbrushing
the
is
eyes
not
as well.
cheating.
Airbrush is cheating. Just old school technique. You know, old man like it's a brush with like one strand of hair on it.
Alexa, what do you think?
Yeah, I love it. I love the dirt on the cloak, and yeah, that sword. Like when I look at the model from far away, the sword just really super eye catching. How bright and shiny it is! Like it's catching the sun as he raises it up. I think it's a really nice look. I think the detail on the face is great. Painting the eyes, sick. Uh, the base also I really like. There's a lot going on there, and it's just a really nice mix of tufts and the rock he's standing on. Yeah, just really good overall.
Yeah, super crisp. Rate it a lot and it's a great color scheme too. Like it's, I don't know, it's not as you'd expect. You know, Chieftain of the Rain, Dunedain, he'd be a bit, he'd wear nice stuff, right? Like you'd expect, but it's not so like ostentatious or gaudy. It's just well executed, the color scheme.
Yeah, he's gone for this like dark navy blue, which is quite different to most Ranger color schemes out there. Usually you get the greens or you get like the gray, blue gray for the gray company, but he's gone for a straight, navy blue, which harkens to maybe the old, a possible color scheme for their house. So very cool, and I like the detail that he's gone to with the face is really nice. He's got the really nice shading in the cheeks, and gives it this very gaunt and hallowed look. He's kind of looking off into the distance, into his doom, but he's going to try anyway. He's going to try his best. All right, thank you very much, Matt. What a great submission, and we're going to jump straight into our third submission here. We've got another returning entrant. Got Andreas. Andreas coming in this time with your favorite dwarves. Just to preface, most of these models are converted or 3D printed. So you have noticed that stocky little ballista is actually 3D printed. Very cute. And he's actually converted some rangers to be its crew. I'm going to start off here. I'm a big fan of using the old dwarf models, that being the dwarf models or even the metal warriors. I really enjoy that aesthetic, and he's chosen well here. And the cute little conversion with the ranger with the two-handed weapon, he's actually converted into some sort of like hook tool contraption for the ballista. I really like that. That's so cool. And yeah, it's like this is, I imagine, matching into his Balin's expedition army that we hopefully will see at an event very soon. And 100% gonna take that number one spot there, Andreas. Yeah, really cool. Really enjoy it. What do you think, Alexa?
I think it's a bolt that he's
Oh.
about to load into the ballista
Okay.
and blast away some goblins.
Okay.
I thought about that, but
is
there's
it a ball?
there's a
Yeah,
ball
there's a
there.
ball.
There's still the ball. I actually
Yeah.
thought that too.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, look. Either way,
Look.
this looks great.
Yeah, look.
It's a,
it looks
it's
great.
a stick.
I thought it was a pluck your poking stick. I'm like, yeah, pluck your poking stick.
Either way, looks great. I really like the old dwarf models when they're painted up well like this. They just look really great. There's a lot going on, a lot of different surfaces to work with, so you can build a lot of different colors and contrasts in there. I again really enjoy the sort of build up of dirt on the edge of the capes, building it into the environment, making them feel like they've been around, as it were. Not just not factory fresh off the production line, as it were. And snowy bases. I like snowing in the mountains, snowing on the ballista. This looks great.
Yeah. And I like how, just in my own little headcanon, the ballista, it being so boxy, just makes it a bit easier to store. It's like less parts. It's probably just a little, packs pretty concisely, and you can carry it off to war, rather than the other ballistas are a bit more bulky and awkward. So yeah, cool, like it. All right, let's jump into our next one. We've got another returning entrant, the Dwarf Submission. There we go. We've got Adam. Adam coming back this month with the Gimli on Urukai, the little display, base model there. One of my favorite display models from the range. This is from a time when, in the Lord of the Rings range, you had a lot of display type models. You would use this in a game unless you'd use it for an objective marker. And yeah, it's just one of those really cool models to show off painting skills, and he's done really well here. Again, he's got that nice blue on the cloak, matching his Amon Hen Gimli that he painted up earlier from last month. He's got the nice sort of basing there that will match up to the basing, or not the basing, the sort of the ground type or ground biome of Helm Steep as well. So very reminiscent of the actual shot in the movie, or the deleted scene anyway. Very cool, and you can almost see the Urukai twitching there, like twitching from his axe. Yeah, what do you think, Scott?
Yeah, it's a cool model. I got 2 of them on the Made to Order and sent one to Lars by accident and never saw it again. But I think it's a great model. I think it's well done, nicely executed. I like Gimli's. It's okay. Bit of context. I'm always like, Fellowship models with elven cloaks. I'm like, oh, I don't like them. This one, always sick, and the paint job on it sick too, because it actually looks like what it does in the movies, was that nicely spun, like pearlescent grey. Cool. Such a great miniature as well. It's nice and cleanly done. I like his eyes. You can see he's like, yeah, let me just smoke a pipe. Sick. Great job, Adam. Really appreciate it.
Alexa?
Yeah, I agree. I really like the cape. I like the little bits of grass popping out. I like that the Urukai has also gotten a good bit of attention. I think it's always easy when you have, the clear focal point is Gimli to not bother with the, other bit, but clearly there's been time put into making sure the Urukai also has a good bit of detail going on in his armor and his little face, his little jaw.
Yeah. And yeah, I just really like the basing as well. It's just like crusty and gravelly, just like in the movies, being gravelly. All right, let's jump into our next entrant. Now he's come in with the great enemy of the dwarves, the cheeky Moria goblins, specifically the Moria goblin out of the old starter set, and he's even got the painted terrain there. Let's start with you, Alexa. What do you think?
Oh, look, I really enjoy the popping colors on this one, like the bright greens and reds, and then the sort of rusty armor and fairly grey basing. I think having those bright colors contrasting with that is really nice, really good for tabletop readability as well. Like from far away, you can still tell what's what. It pops out really nicely on the table, and I like the little scene that they've got going on with their pillars and the well and the cave troll about to come and smash.
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah, I like it. Often you don't see nicely painted Moria goblins or cave troll, so I'm really happy to see this. I quite like the base actually. Often I see like the dirty grey, and it's just kind of like here it's really bright. Like it's actually like super dusty, which is cool. Yeah, nice traditional color scheme as well. Actually, probably the skin is more green than you see a lot of people do, which I think actually works out really well. It's a bit more goblin-y, if that makes sense. It's a bit more devious almost, because often people do like quite a dirty or like poo-poo green. This one's a nice like, yeah, or greenskin green. That's what I'm going to greenskin green. So yeah, looks great. Looks nice and clean, and I really appreciate the little bit of terrain that you've added into to give some vibes, cool vibes, dwarf stuff. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and it's also something to point out that that plastic cave troll is not the greatest sculpt of all the cave troll sculpts, and he's done a really good job selling the ferocity of a charging cave troll. And yeah, you're right. The popping red is really good. It's not something that people do a lot. People usually go for the super drab and dirty red, and yeah, it just pops and looks great, and it's a classic color scheme executed really well. So thank you very much, Mike. We're going to jump in to our next entrant, a returning one. Got Jared again. This time with a Corsair Boson. Moving away from his previous sort of entries, he's had a Minas Tirith entry this time, and now he's gone for Evil Men. Specifically, this sculpt is the one that's meant to be reminiscent of Peter Jackson, the deleted scene in the movie. And yeah, look, again, same thing I said last time. Jared is really the man of texture. A lot of texture going on here with the different cloths and the leathers. Gone for that sort of horizontal stroke approach with the brushwork, and it really sells that worn leather look. And the leather is actually a very ready leather, which is very cool. I really like that. And yeah, it's got some blue pantaloons as well. Very cool. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, look, great job. I quite like the PJ. I like the little tattoo on his forehead already. Cool. I was actually here like enhance, like trying to zoom in on the face, like super close. Eyes done, very good. They're off looking to the right direction, like very nice, or rather our screen right. I like a lot of the texture, the stitching, awesome. I like the pantaloons with the stripes, very cool because you don't see a lot of that. I do like the different types of texture on the fat stitching and worn edges of the leather compared to the spot highlights on the sleeves, which is really noticeable in the back left sleeve there. You can see that it's kind of gone for that homespun rustbun. It's not the whole way around, it's just a little bit. The haft on the spear, sick, or the boat hook rather, a boat hook, cool. Again with the edges as well. You know, it's just a good mesh of techniques. There's a lot of different things going on there that can be quite hard to pull off if you do them, if you just kind of mash them together. But they're done just so that it actually works out really well. Like there's nice smooth blends. There's also some fatter highlights. Like look at the wood. You know, normally you do that with quite a fat highlight, but it looks perfect because it's a nice big highlight. So it actually works out and shows the grain off. And then sometimes doing like the dot highlight to show texture with a smooth inner panel can look a bit weird, but here it looks really well done. So yeah, excellent execution. Like it's super hard to pull off. Favorite part, 100%, is the pantaloons. Yeah, pants.
Alexa.
I really liked all the different textures on this. I think that's what's really working. Like you can definitely tell that the sort of leather armor is a very different thing to the cloth he's wearing underneath, and then his pants are also very different. And obviously the wood texture is also really nice. And yeah, just in general, like you said, everything has the appropriate touches to sell what it is, and I think that's really important. And it also just pops out really nicely. Yeah, it's just great in general.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Jared, for the submission there. And let's straight into our next one. And following that same theme, reinforcing the bosun, got some Corsairs by Mark. Mark is a returning entrant as well. Thank you very much for your submission again. Look, he's really done a really good job here. So first things first, he's gone for the conversion for the little cheeky axe. Very cool. And yeah, he's incorporated that same sort of NMM technique that we saw with his Rohan warrior last time on those axes and shields. And arguably, I think this is even better than what he did last time. The basing, he's gone for the planks, the wooden planks, so it really sells the idea that they're either at sea or near a dock on a port or something like that. The color scheme's really cool with the purple and the blues. Purple blue together is something very risky. It can kind of like blend together, but he's been very careful with the where he's putting the purple and the blue. So for example, the one on the left there with the purple pants, blue shirt, it's separated by the belt, and then on the right there, got a sort of a blue purple pants with the cream separated and then blue bits, like the sort of the shirt bits that's hanging off his waist there. So overall, really well executed in terms of placement of the color schemes or the colors. Very smooth where it needs to be. It's got texture where it needs it as well with the leathers, and it's actually a really good contrast to the previous submission there. The cloth work that Mark has done, he's gone for this sort of very silky smooth approach, which totally would make sense for Corsairs. You know, they'd probably raided some caravans and stolen some silk or traded their booty for some fine clothes, and it really shows here. So yeah, really loving it. Alexa, what do you think?
But look, axes obviously the correct choice for any Corsair player. Beyond that, yeah, I think what I really like is how vibrant they all look. Like that's a really full on purple. It's not like a drab, watered down purple. It's like full on, like satin almost. Same with the clothes as well. Like the highlights on that blue are like they look almost white in a sense. Not that they actually probably are, but just because of the contrast between that and then the shadows next to them. Same with like that cream white. Just it all looks really like a full rich color. Also, obviously, plank basing, sick, love that. And yeah, just in general, really clean, really great separation. All the details are picked out really nicely. Yeah.
Right, Scott.
Super smooth. Smooth. I see that. I'm like, whoa, smooth. Look, one of the things that I want to point out here that helps really pop a lot of colors is black lining. You see so many people who don't do it, and it's actually a really important technique to kind of get a handle on. It's a very heavy metal style technique, so a lot of heavy metal painters, or the heavy metal style of painting by Games Workshop, uses a lot of these sort of things to separate colors out. And it helps add a lot of crispness, because when you're doing 28mm models, you need to have you need to kind of fake it a little bit, because you can't get the natural contrast because you're relying on light, but that doesn't exist at that scale. So you've got to paint it in. So the separation here of colors, just that little bit of like black trim there, just helps sell a bit more depth and actually makes it look way cleaner as well, because the colors don't start to blend together. You can kind of go, this is brown, this is flesh, this is blue. Like you very much see it. Overall, this is excellent because it's just so smooth. Like that execution, Pog, just like sick, so sick. I rate it. It's very different to the previous one we just saw where there's lots of texture. This is the opposite. And you know what? It looks great. Like you can't fault it. Like an army, this would be amazing.
Yeah, great work, Mark. Thank you very much for your submission. Right, let's jump straight into our next one. This one, goodness me. Danny, who was the winner of last month's painting event, has come back with a group of models, not just one. So it's a bunch of Gondorians, and he's kindly shown off the sort of the key pieces there. He's got the Knight of the White Tower, the Captain, and a Warhorn guy, as well as Standard Bearer. But let's just start with the Knight of the White Tower, guys. Let's have a look at that. Goodness me, look at that cloak. He's free-handed a bunch of little white trees on it, with like a cross diamond pattern. Incredible. And on the cloak, he's did some like a white trimming with some tree branches on the edge there. So immediately showing off incredible brushwork and discipline with that freehand work on that cloak. Amazing stuff. And yeah, it's just, I can't take my eyes off it. It's just really eye catching. Moving on from the cloak, he's got really nice metal work as well, with the sort of the gauntlet and the shoulder pads, as well as the helmet there. He's got a nice separation between the silvers and golds. He just looks super regal. Like the equipment there is just full turbo is how I describe it. Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, incredible. I once tried to do a Harlequin army, and I'm like, oh, this is so hard. So I've just been staring at the knight for the last, I don't know, 30 seconds now, just like, oh, look at all that. I like that they all look like little tree shapes. That in itself can be super tough. Getting the gradient on that as well. Also, huge pen in the bum. The freehand's really well done. It's nice executed. It's not too much. It's nice and straight, like that cloak line. That can be really hard to pull off, to get it just right without like weird like splotchy bits or like like a kink in it where it's just off. I would love to know whether it was paintbrush or whether you used a felt tip pen for it, because it's hard to tell. Like that's how good it is. Looking at some of the other stuff as well, like the actual Gondor captain and the Gondorians, like nice and standard Gondorian color scheme. I do appreciate that you've picked out a lot of like the captain. You've given some more gold, which kind of helps sell that he's a bit more important, I suppose. I mean, he's already got a cape, but it's just another step up. I also like the horn. The horn's really nice on the war horn there. That's just it just looks good. You know, like I see, I'm like, yeah, it's got the nice like the stripes in it. Banner's nice and crispy as well. It looks like a nice piece of I don't know, fancy velvet is what I'm going to go with. It just looks, snappy in the wind, and it's catching the light, which is well done. So yeah, excellent job,
Alexa.
Yeah, look, that cape is that cape, man, that just looks so stunning. Yeah, and beyond that, I just think a nice amount of foliage on the basing, not foliage, grass,
Tufts.
Tufts. Yeah, it's not foliage, but you know what I mean. There's a good amount of stuff going on with the bases to keep them interesting as well. Other than that, yeah, you guys hit on it all. I think the Citadel Guard as well in the background, their capes look really nice, like that black and yellow sort of thing. Looks really good for them. Standing out to me really nicely. Yeah, just generally really fantastic. Yeah, that horn looks great too. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I also want to point out, the runes he's using at the back there are the really old school ones from the first edition of the game, and yeah, those look good too. He's got like a yellow dry brush like effect happening. Can almost sell this as like a southern Gondor, like Harad border sort of patrol. So very cool. Alexa, you were going to say something?
No.
All good. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Danny. Let's jump into our next entrant. Yeah, so that's it for the general entries. Now we're just jumping into some of the stuff we've been working on, and we've got Scott coming in with some Iron Hills Maddox. Look, I'm gonna let you tell us how you feel about it, and then we'll jump in later. Scott.
Look, red armor cool because red armor goes faster. Therefore, these dwarves go 6, so they can bash people better. That's the thought process. It's the new legendary legion. Red dwarves go faster. You'll see it in 2022. Don't worry about it. So I have an Iron Hills army all done, right? And then Eric's like, I was like to Eric, I'm like, oh, don't they look a bit mono, just all like non-metallic silver? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, wouldn't red be cooler? Yeah. Eric, I hate it when you make me paint more models. So that's what's happened here. He's just like, I was just like, man, silver looks too much. Maybe I should do some color. Let's do some red. Yeah, red would be cool. Yeah, red. Red goes fast. And that was literally it. So it's interesting because I didn't want to spend too much time on these. So I'll see where if you guys can pick where I cut corners. I got these done in maybe like a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, something like that. There was areas that had to get a bit of working out, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. I think it looked cool, and I want to kind of do the rest of the warband in red now, which is just like more painting. So yeah, great.
Alexa?
Look, I don't know if I can tell where you cut the corners because I think they just look great in general. It's a really nice red tone. I really like it a lot, actually. And the golds as well complemented really well, as well as like the golden beards. They look great with it, I think.
Yeah. Look, I think you've done really well here. And yeah, I was kind of part of the process, as we normally are when we, critiquing or discussing our projects amongst ourselves. Yeah, the red Maddox I think will be really cool in your army alongside Dane with his like sort of red sort of theme as well. So yeah, I can totally see these guys as his personal guard, and yeah, you've done a really good job, getting these models painted and ready to go. One thing I want to point out is I really like the scabbard color. Is that like a teal color, like a really green thing, or is that just the photo? But yeah, I like the wraps on the sword. It's just a weird detail, but I really like it, and it helps kind of pop the model. You could have easily just gone for a brown scabbard, and we wouldn't really think too much of it. But even that little bit of detail is really great. Other than that, I'm not sure where else you may have cut it. Maybe I would say possibly the weapons. The gradients aren't as you don't have much space to put the gradients, so there's really no point, I would say. but the gold bits does have gradient, so it sells that sort of effect again. But yeah, cool.
All right, corners cut all the webbing, so it's actually just like a mad wash, and I'm just gonna go like re-highlight it because small details like this, right?
Yeah.
Like super finicky, real pain in the bum to do. No one will really notice if you don't do it super well. So all the straps around the back of their feet, down around the ankles and stuff. Yeah, it's just like blip blip. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the trousers as well, or the tunic, the under tunic, same thing. I don't even know what color the haft is. I think it's just tunic color with like bloop, 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 some white mixed in. That's it, as I did it. That's the sound it makes as I paint along those lines. But
I
get
believe
ready.
it. I believe it.
Get ready, old Dane. I'm telling you now, Jay Claire, if you're listening, like, come on, this has got to be one of the new profiles. Old Dane in chariot. I'm going to paint the chariot red. It's going to be Dane Speedwagon, and it's going to run people over. It's going to be excellent.
For some reason, I don't think that's going to happen, Scott. I'm sorry to ruin your dreams.
Look, red chariot would be so sick. Go, old man.
Buy another chariot and paint it red.
Oh, yeah, it'd be sick.
Look, I don't disagree how cool visually and thematically that would be. But yeah, I'm gonna look on the hopeful and be on the hopeful side and hope we just get some really cool rules for Old Dane. And may or may not include a chariot upgrade. So yeah. Thank you, Scott. We're gonna jump into next one. It's Alexa's Elven HQs. It's got the Brandwell with sword. We've got a
Pajama King.
Yeah. We've got a Palace Guard captain, I think, and a Mirkwood Ranger captain as well. Yeah, tell us a bit about your process.
Yeah, so I said I'm not going to paint blue, and now their swords are blue. That's the process. But no. So I wanted to paint, after painting up Halberd, I was enjoying painting white, and I was like, all right, I want to paint something in white. And I got these on the made to order, and I was like, all right, let's do these. So I started with the Palace Guard captain, and then I was like, what looks regal and kingly and elven-like? And I was like, purple's kind of real. I was like, all right, we'll do purple. And then I was like, all right, we'll do some golds. And then I was like, oh, if I add blue to that, that's like a nice color triangle. And so I was like, I guess I'm doing blue. That was the process. I think Thranduil, I'm most happy with, especially his sort of chest area. I tried to go for like a nice sort of like light hitting his chest, illuminating, and then having like a really dark shadow underneath his cape. So if you actually held the model in person, the underneath the cape is really dark blue, and then after the chest is still going up to like a quite white, sort of pinkish color between that purple. Still want to do a little bit more work on them. I think basing. I think I want to add a couple more bits, little maybe twigs and things in the leaves, and I'm gonna clean up some of the highlights on the other two characters. But Thranduil, I'm really happy with. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, great job, Alexa. Scott?
Yeah, one of the things that we always pick up on Alexa's painting is that his placement of light is always so good. I really like how you've done Thranduil's lighting in the chest. Like, it just, that excellent focal area. It really just draws your eye into just below the face, so you instantly look up to the face. Really good trick of the light there. Really good placement overall. Helps carry the model a lot. I really rate it. I look at it and I'm just like, I know what new filth you're cooking up, because we had this discussion at the last gaming session we had. Where you talk, was it you or maybe it was Chris saying how like filthy how filthy Thranduil is without armor?
I mean, it's not filthy, but I just think it's funny. I save 10 points, I get an extra elf. Come on, how could I say no?
It's excellent. I really rate the color scheme too. Actually, it's a good, different color scheme. Too often you see Mirkwood elves with, I don't know, just kind of like weird greens, and you're like, oh, it's like Rangers of the North. They were just green and brown. You're like, yeah, cool. Tell me something different, and this is different, and I like it a lot. It's a good job, and white's really hard to do as well, so that looks good.
Yeah, and you've gone for so the cold white as well with the blue shading. So, and it's a nice contrast to the warmer like purple that pushes it to the red spectrum there. Yeah, just to follow on Scott and yourself, like the focal point on the chest is really nice. And it really sells it like this like silky pajama thing that he's wearing, and that's totally what he kind of wears in the movies, and what you're going for in this sort of paint scheme. And you really want it so that when someone, a model dies, to the Thranduil, you'd be like, well, you just lost to a dude in
In his
pajamas.
PJs, yeah.
Yeah, in his PJs, like just lounging around casually. Yeah, so that's totally the vibe we're getting, and I'm getting anyway. And yeah, really well done. Thanks, Alexa. All right, let's jump into another Dicebearers entry. Got Tom. Tom came in this month really strong, and he's basically painted a giant Wolves of Isengard army. So, is it Wolves of Isengard? That's right.
I think
Yeah,
it's Wolves,
yeah. And basically the Shaku Legendary Legion army here, and yeah, it's just so cool to see this project come together in terms of painting. I know he's kind of been working in the background in terms of converting and planning the basing and planning his really cool display board right in the bottom left there. We've had the privilege to see this army in action in a few of our meetups, and one of the cool things, seeing Tom's hobby is that every single model in his army is not the same. It's all fully converted to be a little bit different from each other. And yeah, the conversion work is, you can totally see it in across all the models. Very, very cool. Yeah. What do you reckon, Alexa?
I like it a lot. Tom messaged me like 2 days before the duel. He was like, "How do I finish this on time?" And I was like, "I don't know, just do it." And he did. He smashed it out. He does a lot of freehand too, which I think is like on a time limit really impressive. Like all the little hands, like you can't see it, but all those capes have white hands on them on all the captains and stuff, which is I think really impressive when you're getting it done really fast. So yeah, sick. I love the bases. I love all the like raised bases, especially for cavalry models, like where you've got sort of like a raised lip. I think that always looks so good. Gives a real sense of motion and of place. And I love that a lot.
And yeah, just I'm just gonna jump in here. The basing just completely matches to the like the plains and rocky lands of Rohan or New Zealand, and totally sells the movie aesthetic. And you're right, the free hands. He's also got little white hands on the wargs, very cute. But yes, Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a sick army too. I really, when I saw this, I'm like, where did you get this from? I have an army of, you're like sick. And then he just proceeds to like dog everybody. The last game hit with like 30 dogs. And you're like, oh, cool. It's a giant tide of wargs. This army's sick because it's super thematic. Like it's one of those like armies that's fun to play against, fun to play. It can be super turbo, but it's not that turbo. It's kind of like Gothmog's Legion, like strong but fun because it just heaps of stuff to fight. You're like, oh, I'm fighting everywhere. Paint wise, this is excellent. Like I was like, Tom, you can paint stuff, huh? Because last time he did was his Eagles, and he didn't paint all of them himself. So I was like, oh, you must not like painting. And then he's just gone and done this, and you're like, oh, this is sick. Yeah, I rate it. I'm super proud to see this army. I'd be super happy to play against it as well. I'm just like, this is so cool. So good job. And I like the display board too. That's just this giant block, which is also cool because you can just see like getting ready to yeet Aragon off the cliff. Also cool.
Yeah. And one more thing I want to point out is that the captain on Tom really likes magnetization as well. And one of the captains there, the one that uses the metal foot captain model and the wild Warg Chieftain, that one's magnetized, so you can pop that off and then put that on a base. And I think a lot of his models can do that in some regard. So yeah, it's just not just the painting and the converting, but he's also put a lot of thought into the overall logistics of an army. So very cool. Thank you, Tom. And very proud of you, man. This is my favorite. This is my favorite of your work. All right. And that's pretty much it, except for one last submission, which is my own. And I'll have a look. I'll just show it to you guys, and I'll let you guys talk over it. It's my Men of Enedwaith. Not quite Dunland, just a little bit north of Dunland. That's like sort of my own little headcanon here. So yeah, it's like a little warband that I've done. And I plan to flesh this out a little bit more as well. But yeah, so Alexa, what do you think?
I love all the freehand on the shields. I think that's the thing that stands out. I mean, the red is really nice on the armor, but I just really enjoy shields with designs on them. In fact, I very much dislike when shields come with built-in designs. So, man, I want to do something on them. So I really appreciate those, especially. And also all the colors of the beards and the cloaks like contrast really nicely with the armor itself. I think it's a really good job doing that, and the basing as well. Like it's a really interesting sort of sandy look, and I think that the color on the tufts works really well on that as well. What about you, Scott? What do you think?
Yeah, look, I've probably partied to this paint journey a bit too much because I was painting my red dwarves. I'm like, you know, it'd be cool, red armor. And he's like, oh, please tell me. And I'm like, yeah, red armor would be sick. And look at it, sick. Red armor, sick. Because you don't see it often. It just looks cool. It's like the reverse of their normal color scheme, right? Normally the color scheme is silver with red cloaks. This is better because it's different. And I like, my favorite part actually on the entire thing is actually like the silver faceplates on all the helmets. Cool. And then you've gone and done the runes that aren't Viking weeb, so people don't immediately associate them with Vikings, and they're not white too. That's cool too. You know, they're these swarthy looking dudes, sick, because it's actually like more lore accurate than being white dudes. The lore is that they're all like swarthy dudes, right? So also super cool. I like the salt pan because it did brighten up, like the bases did brighten up the models a fair bit. They're pretty dark in terms of just trying to pick out all the detail, and then it's got a dark cloak and it's got dark skin, so you can kind of lose a lot in just this shadow, and then having a super bright base somehow manages to trick your eye a little bit and make them seem brighter and like more poppy than they would otherwise be. So yeah, good work. And I'm glad you painted a warband. Now you got to paint an army. Get on it.
Yeah, thanks guys. Look, I did a lot of not a lot, just subtle conversion works to make sure that the poses are a little bit different. For those who have worked with Dunlin models, there's only 2 poses per like weapon class. So you got two handers, two archers, and 2 shields. So when you want an army of like these really cool round shield warriors, having 2 poses isn't great. So you can see we've used a couple of other alternate models, like some Grimbold's command there with the Warhorn. I know Dunlin can't take Warhorns, but to be honest, I don't care. It looks cool. And yeah, look, it was a very involved process with Scott and I. We kind of brainstormed a lot on the color scheme, and to be honest, I was a bit of a doubter to begin with, but I'm glad that it's done, and it actually came together really well. And yeah, a lot of experimentation. Look, the basing, like I swear it looked like bird poo for the longest time, but the tufts somehow just brought everything in tight and locked everything together. So really cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed this little project, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna push this to add a lot more models. So you're probably gonna see some of the heroes next month, as well as more guys. And also to add to this, fairly quick turnaround time for these ones. Started this about 1 week. We basically took about a week to get all these guys done. So really happy with that. And yeah. So that's it for 2021, guys. Thank you for tuning in for the December monthly Dicebearers monthly painting event. Polls will go live tonight. We're looking to go live in, I would say, 15 minutes. It's pretty much ready to go, as Tom has messaged me. So yeah, get voting. And we'll jump back and check in with everyone in January, where we'll keep this going as long as we can. So yeah, thank you again for the submissions. Thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Alexa. Any last words, guys?
Great entries, everyone. Good job.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for sharing your hobby with us all. Have a great new year, and we'll see you in January.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.